Hello everyone, welcome to Vinyl Addict. This is Chili and today is Rocktober 10th. And this day in rock history, 1975, Deep Purple released Come Taste the Band. Now this is the only album that features Tommy Bolin on lead guitar, who replaced Ritchie Blackmore. Now, before I get into this, I'd just like to say, please don't forget to hit the like, comment below, share on this video, and if you still haven't, please subscribe to the channel. Now, with that being said, this album here, Come Taste the Band. Now, I'm a big Deep Purple fan. First of all, it was one of my first concerts I've ever been to, and I felt like it was the first time I ever saw a real great guitar player, meaning Ritchie Blackmore. And this was on the House of Blue Light tour. And if you just understand the musical climate at the time, they were coming back in from the Perfect Strangers era, and there was a lot of glam rock going around and big hair bands and whatnot. And these guys were kind of, not doing the same 70s music they were doing. It was the Mark II lineup with Ian Gillan on vocals and whatnot. They were doing some different kinds of music on House of Blue Light and Perfect Strangers, which was cool. And seeing Ritchie Blackmore, just blew me away. I was a big fan of them after that, more so. And I couldn't imagine Purple with anybody else, and I did not go see, I did see Steve Morse. I was invited, and I went, but it wasn't something I really paid attention to. I didn't buy the Deep Purple albums without Blackmore in it, because I just felt like that is Deep Purple. He's one of the most important members, and it's just like there's some bands that I cannot just hear or watch without certain members that are gone, whether they're deceased or they left. And Blackmore leaving the band, that is Blackmore. Deep Purple is Blackmore, and they disrespected him in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. That's another story. But just like even seeing Rush recently on the Taylor Hawkins tribute, and there's no Neil, and everyone trying to play these songs, they just don't sound right, no matter who they are. There's just like certain members you just cannot go on, and I won't. I love Rush. I have all their albums, but I will not. If they were to tour with somebody else, I just wouldn't see it. It's just like it's no Neil. It's just that's the way it is, and just like Pantera, there's no Dimebag, there's no Vinny. I love Zakk Wylde. I'm a big fan. BLS, and Zach Sabbath, everything Zach. But Pantera, I will not sit through that. There's certain people that you just cannot replace. But that being said, this album came out in '75, so this is before I even knew of anything of Ritchie Blackmore or Deep Purple, of course. And I bought this album because Ritchie Blackmore said good things about Tommy Bolin regarding Deep Purple, and so that's the only reason I purchased it. And it was because it seemed like it was more of a David Coverdale thing. I do like his voice, and he really comes into his own in this lineup. He's the one who pretty much recruited Tommy Bolin, and it becomes like a Bolin / Coverdale thing, like a Page and Plant, and the return of Martin Birch as producing, it was coming back as of a more hard rock band, and Ritchie wasn't really happy with the last album, Stormbringer, which they were producing, and pretty much everyone was getting in on this funk thing with Stormbringer, and Ritchie just didn't care much for that, and he's kind of absent throughout the album. He's not really putting a lot of input into it, and everyone else is all aboard for this whole funk thing. Glenn Hughes, John Lord, David Coverdale. And this one, they still kind of do it just a little, but there's more emphasis on rock. Tommy Bolin is a rock guitarist, and coming from like, we'll go through this whole thing, like side one, Coming Home, that to me, it was a great opener. It kind of reaffirms like they were a rock band again, and it was, I put it up there with, as far as opening Deep Purple songs like Highway Star, Burn, Speed King. This was a good track, Coming Home. I really liked it. Lady Luck, that was still just another great heavy rock song right after the first one. The first one was very upbeat. The Coming Home one, it's like I said, it's a very sort of that Highway Star kind of pace. And Lady Luck was just a great follow up to that. Now, Getting Tighter, that's a song that Bolin and Hughes wrote together. And the thing is, that's has like a middle eight section with a little kind of funky kind of breakdown, and it's cool. It works, It's really cool. The riff that he's doing through that starts off the song is very reminiscent. It's very rock still. It's kind of trampled underfoot. It's very upbeat, and they do that for a little bit, and then they just get back to the rock. It's really very short. Just that midsection where they kind of get funky, but it's not too overkill, and it gets right back to the rock. And I think this has a lot to do with Martin Birch, just to be honest with you. I mean, that's what he does. He did Iron Maiden, Number of the Beast, Mob Rules later on, so this is a rock guy. And so Dealer, track 4 on this side, that's another Bolin Coverdale thing, and Bolin sings on the bridge, and he has kind of like his voice was kind of like a very 60s Flower Child kind of voice, singing voice, but it's just a great rocker about it, about being held captured by your drug dealer mentally, and them capturing your soul, which it's kind of prophetic because he will die of a drug overdose, within the next year or so, which is sad. I Need Your Love is the last song on this side. Now, this starts off with kind of like a pop rock song, something similar to like Whitesnake would be doing later on, like Give Me All Your Love. It's kind of has those kind of hooks on it. But then it would go back into that kind of funk thing. It'll go like three bars, a few bars of this funk stuff, then it'll go back to the rock thing, then it'll go back to the few bars of the funk thing, and that one kind of lost me on that. So, and that's the last song on that side. It started off good, but then it couldn't make up its mind what it wanted to be, and so I kind of like dismissed it later on. Now they redeemed themselves on side 2. Opening track, Drifter. I mean, now they're back to the rock, and Tommy Bolin is doing slide guitar on this. Really cool. Love Child is a song that comes afterwards, and that is a mean riff. It is like part Iommi / Blackmore, and it's one of the heaviest riffs that they do on here, and then it goes into like this, again, this kind of John Lord kind of, he's still kind of doing this funky lead, instead of the guitar solo, it was replaced by John Lord, and he's still kind of doing this kind of funky thing, and then it goes back to the riff and the heavy rock. It didn't seem to fit well on that, but they kind of just, good thing it wasn't that long, that's for sure. But then the next song is This Time Around, which is a bluesy, it's a 2-part song this time around. There's a part A and a part B. Now part A is the 3 minutes of that, it's a 6-minute song. 3 minutes of it goes to Glenn Hughes singing the blues with piano, John Lord, and what it sounds like, his voice is really great. It sounds like it's like half Freddie Mercury, half George Michael. So you can have this kind of operatic kind of thing that he does at parts, and then it's soulful, which is really cool. Now the second half of this song is Ode to G. G as in George Gershwin, and that's what it's about. It's an instrumental track, and Bolan is doing a lot of electric guitar, and it seems like they're trying to throw him into focus because Blackmore's not there, so they give him an instrumental piece, which is cool, and he's just jamming away. Okay, and then the last song, You Keep On Moving. This is a really good song. It's a great album closing song. It starts off with just a simple bass line, and then just faint keyboards, and it kind of eases into like a Fly Like an Eagle kind of vibe, and then it grows into a heavy rock song. Then it'll go back down to the Fly Like an Eagle vibe, and then back to the heavy rock thing. Then it just crescendos into this big rock epic with great guitar lead taking it out, and it ends. And it seemed like that was like the way if they were just had one more album, and it was becoming 75% rock, 25% of that funk thing, compared to what it was, on the previous album with Stormbringer, where Blackmore wasn't happy with it. It was more like 75-80% funk, and then 20% rock. So, and I guess they wanted to really showcase Tommy Bolan's ability that yes, he could be in this band, and it worked. It really did. I liked it, and I know that he was going through issues with this is the second time he's going into a band replacing someone. He replaced Joe Walsh in James Gang, and now he's replacing Blackmore, and he said he was very unhappy, just always going and playing live and saying, hey, where's Blackmore? Because yes, Blackmore to me is Deep Purple, and that's why I to this day I didn't I didn't really care much for Steve Morse. He's a great guitarist, but when it comes to Deep Purple, for me it's Blackmore. So, but this album, it worked, and this is probably the only Deep Purple album I have which doesn't have Blackmore on it, and it's a great album. And this is the Mark IV lineup that didn't really survive that long, but I recommend people listening to it because it's just a great album, and great singing. I mean, it seemed like when Coverdale is recruiting Bolan, it's just like he's kind of carving it out, where it's just like him, like I said, like a Plant and Page thing. There's just these songs that just his confidence is up. I mean, maybe he may see, Blackmore as a tyrant, and so I don't know. You know what I mean? But there's not that many songs where Hughes, Coverdale, and Lord all write together like the previous album. It was just mainly Coverdale and Bolan, or it's Bolan and Hughes, and that was like on a couple of albums, so a couple of songs. So that is my thoughts on this. So this came out October 10th, 1975. Come Taste the Band. And so, comment below, tell me what you think, as far as Deep Purple goes with this lineup. And it's not Blackmore, but to me it still rocked. And like the video, share, and if you still haven't, please subscribe, and I'll see you guys on the next video. Bye.